strategic move that Eddie is making for AJ. Why are you not thinking, let's get him set up for kind of animal?
If that was years and years and years ago. Like, Clarissa is a way different fighter from when she was back in the
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on our
defenses that she's had to have recently. You know, she's pulled people.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the RoundTable about tribalism. I don't think tribalism is necessarily bad. I just don't think it has to be.
I don't know what he think he sees or what he think he know. But he going to the hospital, bro. Like, bro, you not winning that fight.
You guys mentioned, I think, D-Style, you mentioned him versus Regis Program. I'd love, that sounds like a...
I don't need you, you know, and PBC and others, in my opinion, it's like, oh, this is my guy. Like, there's a relationship.
Flat out, it's tough, and we call box, and we go to the end of the round, and then...
That would say, what do you mean by acting black? That's a fair question, but a participant of trash talk knows.
And they're announcing a fight 3-4 months from now. And he ain't going to fight. I bet you anything. He's not going to fight somebody as good as John Ryder. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. This is the Roundtable episode 148th. It's a lot of Roundtable. I've been joined by Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter. We have In the Ring with Christine. We have Nika in the building as well. And Gail from nyfights.com. Crystal from Women Crushing Wednesdays as well will be joining us momentarily. And the Solo 408 from the Shoe Shine. You catch the show every Monday with Drew Evo. Check this out, man. A lot to talk about, so we want to dive right into it. Luis Alberto Lopez, a.k.a. Venado Lopez, will be fighting Joet Gonzalez. Can Joet... Now, first of all, if somebody could get clarification for me if he actually made the weight, that's number one. And if he did, just let me know. But assuming he made weight, as of right now, this is his third attempt at the title. All right. He failed against Shakur and Navarette. Will third time be the charm? Let's go ahead and get started with the one and only Christine. Talk to us, Christine. How do you see this fight?
So I'm a little biased a little bit because I think Joet's a great fighter and I really like him. And his sister is on Team USA with me. So I know that his last two performances, his last two, and he was trying to get the title, he didn't look as hot. But I think that he is dangerous, and I think that he does have a shot. La Venado is definitely dangerous. 16 KOs, which is just one more than Joet. But it's going to be a tough fight. But I think it's going to be tough for both of them, you know, not just Joet. So I'm going to root for him. Because I am feeling a little emotional, but it's going to be a badass fight.
Okay,
and he did make the weight. He did make the weight.
He did make the weight. Okay, so we're ready to rock. Okay,
ready to
I got
rock.
you.
Yes.
All right, and of course, Christine's out there in Corpus Christi, going to be covering this fight. And
yes.
I'm sorry, did you pick a winner?
Oh, yes, I'm picking Joet.
Okay. Wait, what?
Picking Joet.
And this is an emotional pick, you said, right?
It is an emotional pick. You know, sometimes we women can be emotional, and right now I'm very emotional.
Wait, sometimes it's okay to bet with your heart. It's all good. Joe Habib, I don't know your pick, brother, but anything you want to expand on in terms of Joet Gonzalez, Venado Lopez, he struggled to make weight. Does that change your mind a little bit?
See, I'm not copying Christine because I picked Joet yesterday. You heard me say it yesterday, so I don't want people to think I'm just piggybacking off of Christine.
Just copying you.
We agree a lot of times, but it's not by design. It's parallel thinking. I just want everyone to know that. Here's the thing. Joet has made a good account of himself in both of his losses. And we talked about this yesterday. Lopez is not as good as the two guys, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, than Joet lost to, right? And Joet's big. He's a great inside fighter. He's very relentless. He's got a great gas tank, great engine, really can go to the body well. And I think Lopez likes to stand in the pocket, and like we talked about yesterday, he punches with his opponents, but he has a knack for getting inside their shots. Now, he may get inside Joet's shots, but Joet is very durable. And if he can't stop Joet on the inside, can't slow him down, I could see Joet outworking him in the trenches. So this is a great fight, not only just on paper, but this is going to be an action-packed fight because of these two styles. I think if there was a style that Joet can beat, it's this style, because the Shakur style and the Navarette style those are difficult styles for anyone, right? So if he ever is going to win a title, this is the time to win it against this particular style with a guy that's going to stay there and fight with him. And that's not to say that Lopez, you know, is going to just be there for the taking. He's going to have to work for this one, but I really do think he's going to grind this one out. I'm going with Joet, like I said yesterday, with a very entertaining 12-round unanimous decision.
I like how B emphasizes. I picked it yesterday, Christine. You know, I like that he emphasized that, but it's all right. Okay, Nika, what do you think of this fight?
I'm gonna go against these two and go with Lopez. I feel like this is definitely gonna be a war, but I don't know. Joet, he's a good guy. You know, I know Christine's emotional about this, but I don't know. I feel like Lopez, I don't know. I feel like Lopez is going to win. I'm not really good at picking, but I don't know. I just feel like Lopez is going to win this fight. I don't know what it is about Joet. I don't know which Joet is going to show up. Sometimes we get like the Joet that I don't even know what fight that was. It wasn't the Shakur fight. There was another fight.
Right?
Yeah, it might have been that one.
A little short African guy, right?
Back, but I'm definitely going with Lopez. I feel like he's, you know, these are two Mexican fighters. Like he's just gonna pull it out.
Okay, right. Now let's introduce Gail. How do you see the fight play now?
You know, I've seen Joet quite a few times here in Southern California, and you know, he is a very serviceable fighter. He never embarrasses himself. He's never blown out. His 3 losses, you know, there's no shame in losing to Shakur Stevenson, Emmanuel Navarrete, and Isaac Dogbe. And the last loss to Dogbe was razor thin, 96-94 scorecards across the board in a 10-round fight. There was a little wider margin in the Navarrete fight. Joet just never got, you know, any steam behind him. And Stevenson, you know, that was an ugly loss, but that was back in 2019. Problem with Joet, you know, he gives it all he's got, but his career has really stalled. He's just sort of in a holding pattern. Conversely, Luis Alberto Lopez has that magical thing called momentum on his side. He has 2 losses too, but he's had these very impressive wins. His knockout against Conlon. Momentum is a real thing in boxing, and the momentum is, sad to say it, for those of you who love and support Joet, he's a good guy, but Lopez is going to win. And I do think it's possible he gets a late round stoppage, although Joet has always gone the distance, but Lopez is dangerous.
100%, a very dangerous fighter. Here's what I want to say. I think, have you guys ever seen the movie Apocalypto? Right? And there's this one guy that almost escapes, but he can't quite escape. And the one native calls him, I'm going to name you Almost, because you almost escaped. You almost did it, but you didn't. And I think that's Joet Gonzalez's legacy. I think that's going to be that's what he's going to be behind. He's going to almost get it done, but no cigar. I think Venado Lopez is going to win this fight. I think he hits harder. I think he has faster hands than Joet. and I think he has a little bit faster feet than Joet, but now it's not hard to find. He's going to bring it to Joet, so I think that's what's going to make it a very interesting fight. Joet could box, really good amateur pedigree. Can't take that away from him, but I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that relentless pressure from Alberto Lopez. And I think in this fight, Alberto Lopez takes over the second half and wins a tough but clear decision from almost. But that's what I think. But I will say this: don't count out Joet. There's no shame in losing to Shakur and Vaquero. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. And dare I say this? I think Joet did better against Vaquero than Valdez did. So we'll let that be what it is. But at the end of the day, that's that. But there's another fight on Saturday. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of this fight. I don't know anyone who's going to pick Gesta to win. I don't think anyone's going to pick on to win, right? So I'm not going to ask you guys who you think is going to win. What I want to know is, what do you want next from Will and Zepeda after this? What would you like to see Golden Boy Promotions do? What do you think some realistic options that they have, moving forward after this? Because I'm personally kind of getting tired of these level fights. It's time for him to step up. I was very disappointed he turned down the Shakur fight. So, Gail, to start with you.
Another guy we're really familiar with seeing, Maecito Gesta, who is from the Philippines, but has spent time in Southern California, Vegas. Again, a little bit like Joet, except, I might even call him almost light. He's also had some decent opponents and made a good showing of himself, but come up short every time until lightning struck for him and he beat a declining Joseph Diaz Jr., who has also had great moments and not so great moments. So Gesta won the right to walk into a living Mexican buzzsaw named Cameron Zepeda, who is one of the most active punchers in his division. I mean, he is a machine. He is one of those guys that goes to altitude to train. He grew up in altitude. His bloodstream is extra oxygenated. His stamina is phenomenal. And he can go and go and go. And maybe he doesn't have lights out power, but I mean, you are just never going to get a break from Zepeda if you're standing across from him. And Gesta does not have the defensive skills to fend him off. It's really a matter of how long is he going to last? How interesting can they make it? And, they might make it a real fun war for 5 or 6, 7, 8 rounds. Yeah, I don't think they'll make it more than that. I'm okay with it only because Gesta earned the right to get this opportunity. There's always a puncher's chance. Somebody gets hurt, cut from a punch. You never know. But those are very slim odds for him. And I'm at least glad to see Zepeda right back in, stay busy. He needs to keep building his fan base and he needs to be visible to get that opportunity against a bigger name at lightweight. There are plenty of them. But he has to make sure the risk versus reward is worth it. And until he's more visible and known, it's not.
My bad. I was muted, guys. Christine, look, you just picked Joet. Do you want to go 2 for 2, Christine? Are you feeling his upset special? Twice, double down. You're going to double down? But in all seriousness, who do you got winning? I'm sorry. What do you think Zepeda should do after this, Christine?
Well, so first of all, with Gesta, he's an opponent. He's an opponent. He's definitely, I don't think that he has a chance in hell. But like Gail said, he did earn this right. I will give him a compliment. I think he's really good on the inside. But everything else, But as far as Zepeda, I think that I kind of question Zepeda because I believe that Golden Boy is trying to build their guy like they did with Munguia, or like they're doing with Munguia. And I really want to see him be tested. Like, for me, this is not a test. This is just going to be, you know, another notch in his belt. He's strong. He has good range. But I do kind of question his defense a little bit. Like, sometimes he has his hands low, you know, and he fires kind of wild. So I want to see him get tested. You know, I would love to see him against Shakur. I would love to see him against Tank. Somebody that's going to, like, dare him to step over the line. So for right now, I don't know how I feel about him. I'm just kind of like, eh. You know, I want to see something more.
Okay. So you're not going to do it? Like you pick Mendoza against Tim Zhu. You pick Joet against Fernando Lopez.
You know why I did that? I did that just to...
So you didn't mean it. I knew it was all cap. The cap of the year. Unbelievable. But Nika, William Zepeda throws like 1,000 punches a fight. You as a boxing fan, what do you want to see Golden Boy do with him moving forward after this?
I don't know if Golden Boy knows what to do with him, because if he's turning down fights against Shakur, like, those are the fights that we want to see, like, as fans. So I want to know what plan Zepeda has in his head for himself, you know. So we can't want it for him. He has to want it for himself. So at this point, like, sometimes the fans like to blame the promotional companies and the management that these fights are not getting made. But if the fighter doesn't want to make these fights, sometimes it's the fighter that doesn't want the fights. So we can't always blame Golden Boy and what Golden Boy is going to do, because if they were trying to make these fights and he's turning them down, what are they supposed to do?
So let me ask you this, Nika. So when you look at a guy like Zepeda who throws 1,000 punches plus per round, he's exciting to watch. You as a fan, like if he were to lose to Shakur, to anybody, and he lost his O, would you still want to watch him fight?
If I saw who lost their O,
like Zepeda, I'm sorry, Zepeda lost to Shakur or anybody, but being how exciting he is, would you care? Would you still watch him?
Yes, I would. I like those kind of fighters. I love fighters who are very busy, very active when they're fighting. Like, I don't like fighters. Sorry, but I don't like to watch fighters like Shakur. Even though that's, boxing, because it's boring to me. I like to see really active fighters. So I would rather watch Zepeda fight than I would watch Shakur fight. That's just me being honest. Sorry, my opinion. But, that's why I feel like that would be an interesting fight to watch. They should make that fight, because I would love to see how Zepeda could get some of those hits off on Shakur. It would be very hard. So that's why those are the fights that we want. That's what Golden Boy needs to push for. Like, sorry, that's the fight we want to see. Come on. What are we doing here? What's the plan? What is the plan? Does Zepeda call anybody out? What does he do? Like, what? If I enjoy you fighting and giving us all these punches, but give us the fights that we want to see. We want to see you fight Shakur or a Tank, like Christine said. Like, give us an exciting. Those fights right there would be, oh my God, they would sell like hotcakes. So.
Yeah, look, it's like this. Joe, I've been seeing for years, people love action fighters, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
Why is Golden Boy protecting this guy's like that's what it comes off to me. Like they're worried about him losing when they don't need to worry about him losing. Arturo Gatti lost a lot. He still sold out. He still sold not the Garden, Atlantic City, right? He was still extremely popular. He was still a showcase on HBO, main events on Boxing After Dark. He still got big paid. He got the lion's share of the purse when he fought Mayweather, right? Who was the #1 pound for pound guy at the time. So, Joe, what would you like them to do with Zepeda moving forward after this? Because this isn't doing it for me right now.
28-0 with 24 knockouts. So you would think, based off of the numbers, he's ready for a big step up, right? He turned down the Shakur fight, but everyone turned down the Shakur fight. That doesn't justify it, but he did turn it down. But it wasn't for a title, like Frank Martin's situation, and it wasn't for $1 million, like Frank Martin's situation. So I think a lot of these guys are waiting around for those belts to get freed up when Devin Haney officially stays at 140, because I think he's going to probably stay at 140. And I think guys like you know, Frank Martin, and I think guys like Zepeda, they're probably going to want to fight for a vacant title, right? That title will help them make some money, get them some status, and then hopefully he'll start taking chances. But right now, I don't see him, you know, jumping in there with a guy like Tank. I don't think Tank's going to want to fight him right now. I don't think that, you know, you'll see him in there with guys like Isaac Cruz. Maybe he'll fight like a Nakatilia type guy, or a Maxie Hughes, right? Or a Yushira, the guy that Shakur fought. He'll fight someone on that level. And the Nakatilia fight, that would be a very exciting fight, right? That would kind of be somewhat of a shootout, right? Both guys are offensive. Both guys can punch a bit. So I think, like I said, they're waiting for the landscape to kind of open up a little bit. And then maybe you'll see these guys tip their toe into the water a little bit. I think a lot of people are just waiting to see those titles get vacated, and they're going to probably try to pick up a vacant one first, and then they can go into a unification or something like that. So I think right now what I want isn't what I'm going to get. So I'll have to take what they're going to give me, and I see them, you know, doing something along the lines of what I just said.
Yeah, I'm looking at a very exciting fighter, action fighter, right? And unfortunately, I feel like I just fear that we're going to end up like a couple of years from now still talking about this the same way we're still talking about Munguia not stepping up. Like it's I just don't want it to reach that point. You know, I want to see him step up. Win, lose, or draw, people are going to watch this guy anyway. There really is nothing to hide here. So it is what it is. We'll see where it goes from here. Okay, a lot to go. He's got, I mean, he's not like old or nothing, so we got time. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Joe, did you want to add something?
You know, I've got to point out, Golden Boy has only been Zepeda's promoter since 2020. They haven't nurtured him up from his first fight to his 28th fight. And let's face it, folks, there is a logjam at the top of the division where you're looking up at Haney, Shakur, Lomachenko, who's still up there. So those guys can't even make a deal. The top names. You're right. The logjam will break open once Haney decides what he's going to do with his belts. Zepeda is right there behind them. But in the meantime, at least he's staying busy. I laughingly said in the comments, feed him to Frank Martin, but probably not a good idea. But, you know, look down just a little bit below you in the rankings. How about a fight with someone like Raymond Murataya? Those are both unbeaten guys, both about the same age. Murataya's 26, Zepeda's 27. That's a made for California barn burner for sure. That would sell here. You know who's hanging around there, lurking, is Kambosos. If anybody wants to see him. Maxie Hughes wasn't a bad call at all. Looks like Edwin De Los Santos won the lottery, so you know he's out. There are guys down there, and you know if they really want to make a bold move, I don't think in a million years what happened. Bob, what's Keyshawn Davis up to? Give that young kid a test.
Thank you to Sly Tennis for being a member for so long. Okay, I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. We appreciate you guys being here. But while you're here, make sure you hit the like button. Shout out to Retro Boxing and Documentaries, that Blood Boxing in the building. We have MAW from Australia in the building as well. Shout out to you, man. All of you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. And, of course, Bruce Goss, Mr. I Stream Everything. Okay, Bruce Goss streams the Oscars, bro. I told you that's for free, Bruce. I stream it anyway with these styles. Like, okay, you stream whatever you want, Bruce. All right, but shout out to Bruce Goss either way. Let's go ahead and yes, Bruce Goss. Look at that 30. Look at that 38 months. I appreciate it, brother. Look. Haplotype, 33 months. Again, I appreciate you guys. But look, speaking of Shakur Stevenson, and Gil mentioned it, Edwin De Los Santos At least as of yesterday, it looked like they had agreed to fight for September. As of September 13th, they agreed to fight. I don't know if that fight's official, like 100% official yet, but that's what. But for what it's worth, Coppinger said it's a done deal. So for what it's worth, right? But with that said, do you like this fight, or would you have rather seen the Frank Martin fight? Nika, let's start with you. You're on mute.
Okay. I really like this fight. I like this more than the Frank Martin fight. You know, I know a lot of people wouldn't agree, but I think this is a more competitive fight, in my opinion. You know, I know people think I'm a Shakur hater, but I'm Dominican, so people probably expecting me to go for De Los Santos, but I think this is gonna be a good fight, and I hope that this is not a case of like, because I saw a couple of people on social media talking about, well, you know, the last announcement from Shakur and Frank Martin was that the fight was agreed to as well. So I hope this doesn't fall apart when the paperwork gets sent over. But I think we do have a fight, so hopefully that does happen. But I'm in a Dominican group chat where it's like nothing but Dominican fans of boxing. So I'm getting like all these gems for De Los Santos. So you know what? I'm like, I don't know. It would be like a shocker to the world if De Los Santos could like pull this out. Because
do you give him a shot?
I do give him a shot. I give everybody a shot. Because you know, look how this is how we get people like Cambosis, you know, become champs. You gotta give people a shot. Like they come out of nowhere and they rise to the occasion and that's how backup quarterbacks get you know, become stars too. When the quarterback gets hurt, the backup quarterback steps up and they become a star. So maybe this is De Los Santos' time. I don't know. But I think I would rather see this fight than the one against Frank Martin, to be honest. So, you know, but I do think the skill of Shakur, he's like the front runner to win this fight. But I'm not counting De Los Santos out. So,
all right. Okay. Are you gonna like wave the?
I'm gonna wave the Dominican
flag while he's fighting?
I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, and you know Shakur is half Puerto Rican and De Los Santos is Dominican. So either way, I win. So
okay. You could have the Shakur T-shirt under the De Los Santos t-shirt.
I would never wear a Shakur T-shirt.
So that way, when Shakur wins, you could just take off the De Los Santos shirt.
I ordered the Dominican boxing shirt from Joel, who's the Dominican voice of boxing. Yeah, so I ordered one of those. So, you know, maybe I'll be petty and wear that shirt on the fight night.
Okay. Well, there you go. Shout out to Slide Tendency. Says, thank you for the support. But it says, panel, did Frank Martin shoot himself in the foot by turning down the offer? It's about money, and how often do you get the chance to get hardware? Joe B, I know you wanted to kind of touch on something like that. So if you want to tackle that, brother, because like, have you given up hope on this Frank Martin fight? Do you think De Los Santos deal is locked in already? How are you feeling about it?
I suspected that Frank Martin wanted more money. That's why he's kind of playing hardball right now. I almost don't think that he's that he doesn't want the fight. Just think he wants more money. And I'm not 100% sure if this Dos Santos thing is locked in. I'm really not. So I said before, I thought it could have been a ploy for Frank Martin to get more money. We'll find out soon enough once they do make the announcement, right? But it's funny when you talk about this fight because on paper, both these guys are very similar, Frank Martin and Dos Santos. They're both southpaws, they're both aggressive fighters, both punchers. But the only thing is Frank Martin kind of got that push behind him, that PBC push behind him. So he's probably a little bit more well-known in comparison.
In a well-known stable too, right? So
yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got the Errol Spence rub to him, you know what I'm saying? So on paper, it's a very comparable fight, right? Very comparable fight. But I kind of do want the Frank Martin fight, but like I'm saying, I think there's more to it than we know right now. I think there's more to it than meets the eye. I'd love to really hear Frank Martin's side in depth. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but we'll find out. I'm not so sure that's dead in the water just yet. I could be wrong though.
Okay, Christine. To Slight Tendency's question, did he shoot himself in the foot here, in your opinion?
I think he's shot himself in the foot yet, but I think that if he continues, then he will. You know, and as far as De Los Santos, like, you know what? Nobody else is stepping up. Nobody else is even talking about the possibility to fight Shakur. So, you know what? Let him have it. Would I have liked to see the Frank Martin fight? Yeah, I would. But I think it was also like mild intentions for me, you know, because I really knew that Shakur was going to dissect him. But I think right now, I don't believe, in my opinion, that Frank Martin is in the position to be making all these demands. As a matter of fact, you know, he is going to get a payday, and whether he wins or loses, which we know he's not going to win, I know he's not going to win, you know, depending on his performance, it's still a win. You know, it would still be a win for him. So I don't get it. I don't know what the money was, what it wasn't, but I'm sure that it was not, you know, something that he should like put his nose up to. So I don't know. It kind of turned me off to him, but I did want to see that one, you know, before the De Los Santos, more than the De Los Santos fight.
Okay. Gail, talk to us.
I'm right with Joe. I think Frank Martin had a greater sense of his worth than was realistic and thought, you know, I'm going to try to shake this down for as much as I could possibly get because I'm not the favorite in this fight. I want to make it worth my while. And I think he really blew the negotiations, and he obviously really ticked off some people by pushing back. And they said, all right, if you're going to be a pain in the ass about your golden opportunity to fight for a title, move along. And he's embarrassed by the whole thing. His fans are mad, rightfully so. And there's plenty of other guys in the top 20. And here's De Los Santos, who's, you know, the next guy in line. He is the youngest of the lightweights in the top 20. He's 23 years old. You know, dare to be great. Good for him. Take a shot. And we've seen a lot of fighters who've lost to Shakur. You know, and it's a matter of degree. If you even hold your own, your stock goes up. No casual fan knows who he is. You know, bravo to you, Nika. You got to support your man. And, you know, weirder things have happened. Sometimes these guys take a chance on themselves. They bet on themselves. And I respect the hell out of them for it. Win or lose. That's what these guys are supposed to do. I understand the split is 80-20. That's still a good payday. That's a national stage. This is being done during Formula One weekend in Las Vegas. I do think it's a little odd to have this event competing with all the parties and all the other racing-related stuff going on. And let me tell you something. If you're going to go to that fight, for God's sakes, do not drive yourself down there. Traffic's going to be nuts. The streets are all closed off. It's going to be a major league pain in the ass in Las Vegas that weekend. But hey, if that's what you want to do, you want to go buy a ticket, you know, wherever it's being staged. I think, I don't know if I'm hearing right that maybe it's at the Cosmopolitan. Oh man, get the best Uber driver in Vegas to take you over there, because it's going to be, you know, you're going to need to leave 3 hours early just to get in and out of there. But they're trying to grab a little of the money that's going to be in town. You know, I get it. Say maybe Lewis Hamilton will show up. Who knows?
Makes sense. Absolutely. Shout out to HLD. Says De Los Santos has more spice than Frank Martin, making a fun promotion. However, the end result will be the same. The Jersey Rican is handing down the most dominating ass whooping, if official. You want to respond to that, Nika? Because you love the first part of the first part, right?
Yes. De Los Santos is spicy. He was like all in Jersey, like, hey, Shakur, I'm in your city. What's up? He is spicy. So you know what? Dominicans be spicy. That's what I like it. I do feel like it would be a little bit more of a better build-up. De Los Santos been doing good talking shit. I love it. You know, I like that kind of stuff. So I'm all for it. And then he's like the New Jersey Puerto Rican. You know, I don't even know. So, you know, I think that's like, because some people don't even want to admit that Shakur is half Puerto Rican, but he is. So like, and I hate when people try to act like he's just saying it just for promotion, but he is half Puerto Rican. People, he is half Puerto Rican. How are you gonna tell somebody what they are and what they're not? Like, come on, like this doesn't make no sense. Yes. But I feel like this. Actually, I feel like this fight should have been in New York because the Puerto Rican and the Dominican crowd in New York is crazy. I don't know why it's in Vegas. I mean, I guess I already had that date already held on to the side, but this fight definitely should have been in New York. Like the crazy Dominicans and the crazy Puerto Ricans would have came out for this like no other. I really feel like if this, I don't know if they could change the venue to New York. That's what they should do. They'll get a lot more a bigger crowd and like people that are actually really want to root for each fighter in this event.
For sure. All right. Hey, 408, really quick. Venado Lopez, Joet Gonzalez for the upset. Well, who do you got?
With a straight KO in the late rounds.
Who was that? I'm sorry, we didn't hear the first part.
Oh, sure. Venado Lopez with the stoppage win in the late rounds.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Can you look over at Christine and say it? Can you look at her and tell her?
I like his opponent. He earned his right to be here. You know, what second or third attempt
I'll do it. He's gonna knock him out in the late round. 408 said. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. Okay, but 408. I don't even. Why am I still calling you 408? You're not even in 408.
I'm in the 702. In fact, Gail, I think I might as well start walking if I want to see that Shakur. If I want to see the Shakur fight, I think I'll start walking right now.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are going to be in absolute traffic hell for about a week and a half. I hope it's worth it.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, so with that said, Frank Martin de Los Santos, which fight did you want, 408?
Well, I wanted to see Frank Martin. I've actually got to see him twice now at the Cosmopolitan. I thought he deserved that shot, and I just think that somebody in his camp gave him some really bad advice, and it's going to play out like the move that Bivol made against Canelo for that rematch. I think it's going to play out like that. He got a really sizable $1 million offer on the table, and I think somebody told him, listen, these belts are going to be released eventually by Haney, and there's going to be a much easier fight for you, and you can remain undefeated, potentially. You know, if you can get some more impressive wins, potentially you could be an opponent for Gervonta Tank Davis. Should Gervonta Tank Davis pick up the full WBA strap, you could be next in line to fight Gervonta Tank Davis for more than $1 million. You know, and we'll probably see that it doesn't play out that way, and that he overplayed himself like Dimitri Bivol did in negotiating the rematch with Canelo. Now Dimitri Bivol is looking for anybody to get in the ring with, right? So shout out to the Dominican fighter for stepping up. And like you guys said, a lot of fighters have lost to much elite competition. You take Jermaine Ortiz at lightweight at Top Rank, took on Lomachenko and really raised his stock. And now he looks like a guy who deserves to be in the top 5 conversation.
Well said. And let's welcome Crystal on the panel. A third member of Women Crushing It Wednesday. How are you doing, first of all?
I'm good, thank you. I finally get to the cornfields to make it.
Absolutely, there we go. I heard Christine gave you the wrong time. Is that true?
I don't think so. I'm sure it was all right here, actually. I take the blame. Right. Take it on the chin.
Sounds like Stockholm Syndrome to me. You don't have to protect Christine all the time. You know what I'm just saying. Look, Crystal, first of all, Venado Lopez or Joet Gonzalez, who thinks he'll win that one?
Yeah, I say Lopez. I agree. I like Joet Gonzalez, right? I like the kid, okay? But let me just say, I get these vibes like Gabriel Flores from him. So I'm going with Lopez, and I'm not against a late round stoppage. Yeah, in the later rounds, I'm not against it. But Joet, he handled himself well in the ring. He make the 12 round fights. So it's possible it make it that far, but I still get those Flores vibes. You know, what if he don't? Where did he go after this if he lose?
I don't know.
That's my question.
I don't know. And if he gives you Flores vibe, we saw with Venal Lopez that to Gabriel Flores. So that was not very pretty.
Right.
So look, Shakur, looks like he's going to be fighting De Los Santos. Are you as excited as Nika for that fight because he's fighting a Dominican, or would you rather have him fought, or he might still fight Frank Martin? Like, which one of those two fights did you prefer?
This is what I like. I like Frank Martin and Keyshawn Davis. They're on the same level to me. I don't want to see the Shakur with Frank Martin. Frank Martin, to me, it's a shame he don't take that money and run with it, because he have to remember he age and the late start in the game. Take the money and run, my brother, and you still get good fights after that, just because you take an L. Okay, so that's my personal opinion. I'd much rather see Davis and Martin in there together over Shakur. But I do agree that Shakur, this is perhaps a more competitive fight. De Los Santos with Shakur. End result the same. Shakur, he taking it all the way.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start this next segment here with 3 ladies of Women Crushing on Wednesday. Because they got to interview Terence Crawford right before his fight. You know what I mean? So they get first, bids here. But Crawford has gone on a rampage on Twitter. He's showing no mercy at all. He's being petty. And I like it, but okay. Some people are saying he's acting like a woman scorned. I heard a Punch Drunk say that, right? I heard some people, that they don't like it. That they want him to act more like a humble champion. You know what I mean? But he's being petty. He doesn't care. Keith Thurman came out and clapped back saying, well, he hasn't fought a real welterweight, like me. The Errol Spence was not impressive. Like, or whatever, right?
Whoa.
Well, he talks to the list, man. I'm just saying the list is coming back. I'll give him that. The list is making a comeback. As soon as Crawford won that fight, and all of a sudden he thought he could get a big fight, all of a sudden the list came back. Okay. He's trying to grow the hair back out. He's gonna need a long hair. Okay, like that dude from the Bible. He's gonna need that power. Was it Samson? Who was the dude with the power? Like in the Bible? Is it Samson?
Samson. I was muted. Samson.
Yeah, that's the guy. Look, whatever. Like, he hasn't fought any real welterweights. I just want to throw this out there, Thurman. Your one loss was to a little welterweight called Manny Pacquiao. I wouldn't be talking about sizes and real welterweights if I was you. I'm just putting that out there. But nonetheless, Crawford came out and said, "You're not going to get this fight," right? Garcia, I don't even know who asked Garcia, but he said, "You're not going to get the fight." Okay. Garcia came out and said, "I'm a millionaire" as a comeback. Okay. Good for you, but you're not going to get the fight. You know what I mean? Crystal, is Crawford acting scorned? Is he being petty? Does he have a right to be petty? Well, what are your thoughts here?
I don't care if you want to call it petty. I don't care if you want to call it messy. I don't care if you want to call it rude. Whatever your taste be, you call it what you will. The man deserve it. For 10 years, we be telling the folk, listen to me. He has special talent, and this lad want to fight. He want all the smoke, and nobody give it to him. So now the tables turn. I agree with him. Let him give it. Let him give it. He deserve every period, every capital he put on the Twitter. He deserve it. He the man.
Oh man. So well, what do you make, Crystal, of a statement from Thurman saying he hasn't fought any real welterweights, and he would have done the same to Spence? You said.
Thurman, as far as I'm concerned, he all over the place. He wanted to fight a female for charity. Now he's saying he want to fight the Crawford. At one time, he don't give Spence a chance. Rumor have it, right? I don't know the facts about that, all of that. But he have his chance, right? He don't take it the first time. How many times he need? He now been out the ring for 3 years. Do we truly want to see him fight Bud Crawford, he need to be careful what he wish for. Careful what he. If Bud decide today he want to take a fight with Keith Thurman, I'll be in fear for the family of Keith Thurman.
Oh man, look, I heard stories of Crawford, right? That he just walks up to dudes and just locks up with them, like just starts wrestling with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Malachi. Like he just locked up with them and just like ragdolled him or whatever, right? And the thing is, you know, I guess he got Christine in a headlock and like, you know what I mean? It is what it is, but Christine is because does Keith Thurman need to be careful here, like the way he's talking, because Crawford may not even need the money for a boxing fight. He might run into him like in a hallway somewhere and maybe slap him the way Plant did to Jamal or something, right? Or lock up with him, you know, or something. Should he be a little worried there?
I don't think he needs to be careful because nobody's worrying about him. You know, like my girl said, he's talking about fighting a woman. You know, I think that he needs to go back to wherever he was in his meditative state with his little banjo, take his shoes off, put on his little Zen outfit, and continue to light candles. Because you know what? His time has come and gone. Nobody cares. Nobody wants it. It's over for him. He had an opportunity. Okay, he didn't take it. So you know what? His bad. And do I think that Bud is acting like a scorned whatever? Oh my God, are you serious right now? F the haters. Like seriously, he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. He earned it. He has earned it. He has tried to prove himself for years. And now he has, and he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Man, shout out to the chat that's typing flute for some reason. Like flute. All right. I got you guys. Okay. Nika, I think you like petty, right? Like, is Crawford being petty here? Like, if we're honest, even if he's justified, is he being petty?
He is being petty, but he is allowed to be petty. You know, he's earned that right to be petty. So, you know, like people say he needs to go back to playing the flute. You know, and going back to day. He's been gone for what, 3 years? And he's like, oh, you know what? They're making some noise out there. Let me get back in the mix. Sorry, you know. Get in line. And people are calling him petty and a scorned woman. It's like, come on. Have y'all not seen the shit that he had to go through before this fight with Spence? The fans are the reason why Spence got whipped the way he did. It was y'all. It was your fault. You Spence fans are the reason why Bud beat on him that way, because you was saying, oh, his resume, he didn't fight this guy, he didn't fight that guy. You know, so if Bud is being actually nicer than I would have been, because if it was me, I would have been hell. I would have been hell. I think that was nothing what he said on Twitter. That was nothing. He didn't say anything like, you know, that I wouldn't have said. That was nice according to me. So if Thurman I don't even really feel like Thurman even wants to fight. I just feel like he just feel like, let me see if I could just like make some noise, you know? I don't even think he really wants to fight. He just want to see if he still got it and he could still make some noise out there. And he did, because we're all talking about it right now. And so you know, there are some people who want to see the fight, but me, I don't want to see it. You had your chance, pass it up. You've been gone for 3 years. What if he wants to get that fight, he needs to get another fight first and show us something to make us excited about it. But right now, no.
Yeah, Keith Thurman has fought once in 4 years.
And 4 years? Oh, get out of here.
Once in 4, yeah. Yeah. Gail, what say you?
I was at that last fight too, as a matter of fact. There was a shocking ass whoop. Listen, all the ladies before me have given all of the intelligence I could possibly offer, so I'm not even going to repeat it. Listen, for years, people have complained about Bud not showing any personality, not being media friendly, not talking, and now he is, and all of a sudden, oh, he's being petty. Seriously? Come on. He's the one, he's the lion, and everybody's, sneaking up behind him and pulling his tail, and they're surprised when he roars back at him. He isn't saying anything that isn't true. Bud has finally let his personality come out. Hey, if the truth hurts some people, they need to get over it. As for Thurman, he just should make a deal with Adrian Broner to do a pro box card fight in Florida, and they could both get it out of their damn system and call it a career.
You're muted, D.
Yeah, look, Broner's a little too busy harassing McDonald's workers, so we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what the hell that's about.
That's why you need something to keep it busy.
And then I never seen him do it with a six pack and a gut at the same time, but like he had to go. It's what it is.
It was the red shorts or the red panties he was wearing that drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, but it's not fun. But he was acting like a piece of shit in that video, by the way. I'm not laughing at what he did to those people, but
yeah, he was being a piece of shit. I'm sorry, it's a piece of shit. Because I think like, what if my nephew was the one working at McDonald's, and you over here harassing these people just working their regular job, just trying to get
and it is like a lot of them are like teenagers working there.
These are like teenagers. Like, stop trying to go viral for some poor kid just working a regular job, minding their fucking business.
This is not the first time, though. You know, this be happening for a while. This is his mentality he been having.
Yeah, but did you see how that one kid like was going to step up to him and the manager held him back?
Yeah, but they shouldn't even have to do all that. That's crazy.
He stepped up to one of my sons one time, and he sure backed down quick. I have the whole story. Trust me.
Oh man, that's good. Well, there you go. Shoeshine 701. Well, what is it again now?
702.
702 is I'm almost there. So 702. It doesn't have the same ring as 408, but it is what it is. Talk to us, brother. What do you make of Keith Thurman saying Crawford is not fighting in real welterweights, and Crawford saying, "Look, man, you ain't gonna get a shot anyway. Like you had your shot, you ain't gonna get it."
Keith Thurman is about to be as relevant at welterweight as Andre Berto, that announced his return at 40 years old. These guys are practically in the same shoe. But Crawford deserves to have this platform now as undisputed champ, guys. For so long, for years, while under Top Rank and Bob Arum, he could not get those major fights. Bob could not get those fights against those PBC fighters like Thurman, like Danny Garcia. And in one fight as a promotional free agent, he cleans house and becomes undisputed against their very best fighter, Errol Spence. He cleans house. He's not being petty. He's finally got the mouthpiece and the place. He's appearing on podcasts like Joe Rogan, you name it. Everybody wants to talk to him, and now he deserves to have that platform to speak about his feelings about what transpired over all these years. Remember that they spun the narrative that he had the softest resume, that he had the easiest job over there at Top Rank, becoming a welterweight champ, that he fought nobody. Man, he's just finally speaking his piece, and I agree with him 100%.
Joe, I don't have to add any extra sauce for you. You can go.
Well, I think a lot of people are forgetting, or at least they're ignoring the fact that both Crawford and Spence said after this fight they were going to move up to 154. So I'm not even sure these fights at 147 at this point make sense for Crawford. He already has his goals set forth. He's even talking about fighting Canelo at 168. I think he's done with the 147-pound division. And this is kind of ironic because he was froze out for all those years. And these same people made a lot of it, gave a lot of reasons why they didn't want to fight him, right? So obviously he's going to be resentful towards them. And I think he has every right to clap back at these guys who for years were taking shots at him. It's only fair, right? So if you dish it, you got to be able to take it back. And I think if I was in the same position, I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing. I can be vindictive at times. I try not to hold grudges, but I'm a human being just like everyone else, right? So if people say things to you and they poke you enough, you're going to clap back. And that's definitely what happened here.
I get maybe why somebody asked Thurman. At least Thurman's a former unified champion at welterweight, but who the hell asked Danny Garcia? Like what? How did Danny Garcia enter this conversation? Like what? Like who asked him? Like, oh, well, I want to get in the ring with Crawford. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like what? Nobody's talking about you, bro. Like you haven't done shit since you beat Matisse on the undercard of Mayweather versus Canelo. That's your last big win, dude. Go sit down. Like, you know what I mean? Like Thurman's been once, Now back to one time. They call him one time because he's fought one time in 4 years. All right, this is crazy, bro.
Garcia needs to stick to making videos with his sisters. Like, seriously.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, I don't know what that's about, but well, what's the story behind it, Christine? What about the sister?
You haven't seen? They do like music videos, and they're all like, I'm just like,
is the music good?
Is that on the TikTok?
The TikTok.
That too. Yeah, it's they try to be everywhere, and like nobody's interested.
I never seen that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's out there.
He's a real estate agent.
If he fights Crawford, the next song on TikTok is going to be called "I Fallen and I Can't Get Up." Okay.
I mean, Crawford will step. He doesn't even need to like entertain that, like at all. Like that's just like.
No, he did entertain it though. That's the thing.
No, he did.
And he's glad that his name was even mentioned in that tweet. He's just happy his name was probably even mentioned.
Right.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Thurman fought one time in 4 years, and the last time he fought Mario Barrios. The guy he fought Mario Barrios, and Mario Barrios was coming off a knockout loss to Tank Davis in a lower weight class. Like that's your last win, Keith. And like, you know what I mean? And before that, you got beat up by a small welterweight in Manny Pacquiao. You're talking about sizes and real welterweights and all this other stuff, right? When you fought two small welterweights in your last two fights, you batted 500. That's number one. Second, I'll never forget this. When Crawford moved up to welterweight, he was calling out Keith Thurman, right? He was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, right? And he said, I want Keith Thurman. Well, why do you want Keith Thurman? You should be fighting Errol Spence. And that's what, Stephen A. Smith said, right? And Crawford said, no, the man of the division is a unified champion, Keith Thurman. That's who I want. I want to fight him. And you know what Keith Thurman did in return? Keith Thurman went on video, and there's video footage of this, right? And he sat there, or stood, whatever it was, right? And he said, Crawford doesn't interest me. I'm not interested. I'm going to say it slowly. I don't want to fight Crawford. It doesn't interest me. And all of a sudden, you're interested. You're trying to get a check, brother. That's what you're trying to do at this point. Go earn it. I don't care about his previous accomplishments. I don't. Once in 4 years, go fight somebody. Go earn it again and go fight some of these young lions, okay? Remember he sat there at a press conference telling Paulie Malignaggi, don't duck me, son. Don't duck me. When it's my turn, don't duck me. Like, yeah, it's easy to say that to Paulie Malignaggi. Wow, you really went out on a limb with that one, right? Stop ducking the smoke, bro. Like, stop avoiding the smoke with Boots. He'll fight you. A lot of these young guys will fight you, bro. They'll fight you. The question is, does Keith Thurman want to fight them? And if he doesn't want to fight them, you're not going to get Errol Spence. You're not going to get Crawford. If it's that or nothing, and retire. Do us a favor and just call it a day, and go do your, play a whole new world with your flute or something. You know what I mean? Because it'll be a whole new world without boxing for you. It is what it is. Okay. The Titanic song. Because you're sinking like Titanic at this point, brother. Like, you know what I mean?
What is Thurman wanting to fight at 54 or 47? I thought at one time he wanted to go to 54.
Then I guess that, you know what? They fight Abel Ramos after he dispatches a Lubin. I'm sure he'll fight him. He'll fight him.
Feed him to Zoo.
You know what I mean? I don't think he'll get in the ring with Zoo, but maybe he will. I don't know. Maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe the money's good enough, but shout out to Nando Llamas. Lurkers jabbed a like too. Yeah, man, a lot of you lurkers out there, make sure you hit the like button now. Like, you're tuning in, but you're not hitting the like. You know what I mean? Hit the dislike. It's up. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead and keep it moving here. Okay, we're going to keep this one moving. What's up, Nico? Nika can't stop laughing. Let's get on the mic before we proceed. What's up? What's up, Nika? You're muted.
I was just laughing at your commentary.
All right, that's cool.
And can you please do the imitation of Stephen A. Smith again?
Well, why do you want to hear me talk about that? You know, for what? Remember he said he'll say he doesn't want to watch women fight.
Oh no!
I don't want to watch women fight for what? I mean, women are like flowers. Like I'm not interested in that. Like whatever. But with that said,
oh my God, I'm about to die.
With that said, let's talk. Let's do this. I'm gonna call this buy, pass, or trash. Okay, and everybody in the chat, it's buy, pass, or trash. Will you buy it? Right? You're willing to fork out your hard-earned money and buy that pay-per-view? Will you pass, meaning you're not going to buy it, but you'll find a way to maybe watch it. Maybe you'll roll your boat gently down the stream. You know what I mean? Or is it trash? Like they can't even pay you to watch it. The shit's trash. Like you're not even going to waste your time watching it, right? So we're going to go one fight at a time here. Some of these are official. Some of them are not, right? We're going to start with a very easy one, but we'll see. Nika, Canelo versus Jermell. Buy, pass, or trash?
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy that one. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Shushan, buy, pass, or trash?
That's a solid buy.
Okay. I'm not even gonna ask Babe. Like I could actually just go across right now, just buy. When it comes to but I'm gonna ask him anyway. Babe, Canelo, Jermell.
I already bought it.
All right, there we go. That's a buy. There we go. Crystal,
ringside if I could.
Solid buy. All right. Christine,
I'll buy it for me and you. How's that?
Okay. All right. Gail.
Buy, and specifically buy at ppv.com because Jim Lampley is joining the crew for that fight.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Yeah, Beeb already bought it on Showtime. He's gonna listen to Morrow, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? That's a buy for me for sure. No one's shocked to hear that. You know what I mean? But it's a buy for me for sure. No doubt. All right, Fury versus Ngannou. That will be on pay-per-view. Nika, buy, pass, or trash?
Going to throw that thing like Dan Marino all the way down the field, all the way far away from me. I don't want no parts of that. No parts of that.
Oh, man. Okay. Shushan, buy, pass, or trash?
Straight dumpster trash.
Oh, man. He even had the sound effect and everything. Look at that. I like that. Joe Habib, buy, pass, or trash?
I want to say pass, but I said pass with Mayweather McGregor, and I ended up buying it towards the end. So I'm such a loser. I'm gonna have to say pass because you're asking me today. I'm gonna say pass.
Okay, pass. Okay, Crystal.
Yeah,
pass or trash?
Trash.
Oh man, Christine.
Even though that's my guy, Fury is my guy. I don't care what anybody says. That's my guy. It is dirty diaper trash.
Oh man. Whew, like the baby just had diarrhea type of trash.
Yeah, that leaks out of the pamper. Yeah.
Like that green shit. Anyway, Gail, buy, pass, or trash? Ngannou Fury.
That goes in the fire pit in the backyard, lighter fluid, and light that thing on fire. Trash.
Oh man. I'm actually gonna say pass. I'm not gonna go trash. But I will pass though. Because you know why? I'm not going to pay for it, but I'm going to watch it. Like, I'm curious. You know what I mean? So, but it is a trash fight, but the pay-per-view is pass.
Curiosity kills the cat, though. Be careful.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Benavidez versus Andrade versus Benavidez. Nika.
I want to see that, so I will use my coins to watch that fight. Yeah. Because I want to see, because this is what Canelo been telling them. Hey, you guys want to fight me? Fight each other,
motherfuckers. Not a fight you.
Right?
Hey, Shushan, is that a buy? Is it a pass? Or is it trash?
Well, being that fight's going to be in November, potentially here in Las Vegas at the MGM, that's a buy tickets. That's how strongly I feel this will be an interesting match.
All right. Hey, I'm surprised. Okay. Joe Habib.
Automatic buy.
Damn. Crystal.
I will buy it because they are boxers, and I love the sport of boxing. I will buy it. The curious, what do you say? The curiosity killed the cat. This is the reason I will buy that one. I'm not a large fan of Andrade, but I'm still waiting for that moment for him to shine for me. I want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'm a sucker.
Christine?
I'm on the fence. I mean, if I'm around and there's nothing else going on that's exciting me more, I'm going to go ahead and get it. I've never been a fan of Andrade, and I don't see him lighting me fires. So it's like, if I'm around, yeah. If I'm not,
So you got to pick one though.
Okay. So you said cash, trash, or buy. Oh, okay, I'll just say buy. I'll buy it.
Okay. All right. Gail.
Andrade has completely mismanaged his career. He deserves what's coming to him. So I will buy to see Benavidez shut him up once and for all.
Okay. I'm very surprised. I was expecting a lot of passes here. It is a buy for me. I will buy because I like to fight. Even though I would rather it be on Showtime, or something, but it is what it is. So I have to buy it. I will say though, I do believe the public at large, the casuals, will pass on this because it's probably not going to do over 100,000. I doubt it. So that one is what it is. But let's go with the next fight. Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. Nika.
I would buy it. I'm gonna buy it. Not that I feel like it's pay-per-view worthy, but I still want to see it, so I will buy it.
Okay, all right. Shushan, Haney versus Prograis, brother.
I'm gonna buy it, despite my feelings that could have been a free fight.
Okay, Joe.
Automatic buy.
Automatic. Man, it's automatic. You know what I mean? Crystal.
It's a buy.
It's a buy. Okay.
Absolutely.
Christine.
It's a definite buy for me.
Definite buy. Man. Gail.
Solid buy for me.
I'm going to pass. I will pass on this fight. I
can't pass.
I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on it.
No, don't do that.
What?
I ain't paying for this fight. I'm just going to put that out there.
Fight. Wow. Okay.
I'm going to watch it, but I ain't going to pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I'm just saying.
I'm reporting you.
We got one more. Tank Davis. Recently just did 1.2 million, by the way. Just putting that out there. Against Isaac Cruz Dos, number 2, against the Pitbull. Nika, buy, pass, or trash?
I want to send that fight where I want to send my ex-boyfriend to. So trash.
Oh, what?
Throw
Okay.
that fucking trash.
All right, Shusha.
I'm going to pass, and I'm not passing based on Isaac Cruz's first performance. I'm passing on his performances afterwards. I solidly feel that it was a fluke, and Gervonta Tank Davis is going to expose him even further in the rematch. So I'm going to pass.
Okay, man. Joe.
Instant pass.
Are you okay, Joe? Like, all right. Like, you're not going to buy it? Dang, okay. All right.
That's an instant pass.
Crystal.
I may have shopping to do that day.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I may need to go shopping that day, so I'll have to pass.
Pass, okay. Christine.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe y'all. So I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I thought that the last fight between them two was so close, and I think that Pitbull rises to the occasion. Like, I know he didn't look good his last couple of fights, but whenever it's a big name or somebody, like Tank, he rises to the occasion. So I want to see it again.
Okay, I hear that, right? It's Pitbull. You know what I mean? Y'all, Gail.
Pitbull was so defanged in his last fight that the bars at the T-Mobile Arena made a fortune while everybody was getting their drinks before sitting down to see Spence and Crawford. I will pass.
That's part of the reason they're all crying afterwards. They were so emotional.
I'm gonna crack open this beer. I'm gonna buy it.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna buy the fight.
You're not buying that. You're
I
not
love that. That was a great fight. Pitbull Cruz gave this guy so much hell, and people are just in denial about it. Like that's what I think was like. People are in denial.
You'll regret buying that.
He had the nice guard. It was blocking the uppercut. I mean, no one's figured out how to block the uppercut, but Pitbull Cruz did, right? He did. And that's how he hurt his fucking hand, right? And not only that, I thought Pitbull Cruz won that fight. I scored 7-5 for Pitbull Cruz. That's how I scored that fight. And I'm going to tell you right now, I like the fight, and I'm going to buy it. Okay. It is what it is. And look, I've had a lot of criticisms about Tank, but I have a feeling you're all going to buy it too.
I want to give credit to Pitbull Cruz. It was the one fight where all my casual friends called me and suddenly became scoring experts. You know, they don't even watch my show every Monday night, but suddenly they called me after the fight.
But you're not giving him credit because you're not going to help his credit, but his credit score by buying his fight. You know what I'm saying?
I would have loved to have seen some solid making statement type fights leading up to the rematch. And
he can't knock out Cruz. He can't do it. Cruz has like no neck, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You can't knock that dude out. Like, you know, like I'm saying, he got no neck. He lit him up a couple times and nothing to him. He just walked him. You know what I'm saying?
With a body shot. Knock him out with a body shot like he did Ryan.
He's too short. Like he's like 4'2". Like, what? How do you get him with a body shot?
Not too much on short people though.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, majority of the rules. Most hit pass or trash. So it is what it is. You know, it's whatever. Look, last topic of the evening. Amanda Serrano made a big announcement. Huge announcement. 12 rounds, 3 minutes. You know, she came out. I gotta fight for 3 minutes. 12 rounds, everybody. I'm making history. Like, you know, she's making history. She's making her story, as they say, right? And she's gonna do it with a girl I never heard of. No offense to the girl. I'm not saying she's bad or good. I just never heard of her. But it is a title fight. The WBC is not involved in it for whatever reason. Mauricio has his weird reasons, but whatever. Some fighters are all for it. They're all in. Some fighters like Sky Nicholson came out and said that they don't want to do it. Like, of course you don't, Sky, because you can't knock anybody out. Like, it is what it is. But that's not here nor there. Is this history? Like, is this real history in the making? Like, is she changing the game? Is she doing something big for women's boxing? She did a little promo by MVP. It came out and it said her talent, Katie Taylor, I challenged Katie Taylor to a 12-round fight. Unfortunately, she declined. You know what I mean? Katie didn't want to do it. I just want to give people the facts of that situation. Okay. She did, in fact, challenge Katie to a 12-round, 3-minute fight. She did. Okay. But she challenged her in a second press conference after they already agreed to fight, already signed the fight, already had one press conference. This happened in the second press conference. Well, she already did it, right? I just want to put that out there. You can make that what it is. But is she really making history here? Or is this a publicity stunt of some sort, right? Or is it something in between? We'll start with you, Gail.
Well, it isn't history in that it's far from the first 3-minute round fight. It's not even the first 12-minute round or 12-round 3-minute fight. Layla McCarter has twice fought title fights that were 12 3-minute rounds. It was a long time ago, though. It was in 2007. So she won the WBA lightweight title in the first fight, retained it in the second fight. By the way, first round TKO in the first fight, second round TKO in the second fight. That's not to belittle Amanda Serrano's push to do this. What makes me sort of laugh about the whole thing is women fight 3-minute rounds in the Olympics, in the amateurs. They always have. It's always been 3-minute rounds. Admittedly, it's only 3 rounds. But they fight 3-minute rounds in the amateurs. There are many commissions, individual commissions around the world and in the United States that allow 3-minute rounds under certain rules. Both fighters need to agree. The last significant fight that was a 3-minute round fight was the fight between Sinisa Estrada and Marlon Esparza. And if you remember that fight, which was in Los Angeles, for which I was ringside, it was a barn burner, bloody, blood and guts war. A fantastic fight. That's why women who are very offense-minded fighters like Serrano want those 3-minute rounds. I worked through CompuBox numbers and BoxRec records doing the math, matching the highest percentage knockout rate male fighters and the highest percentage women. And I took those men, the likes of Gennady Golovkin, George Foreman, you can go down the line, and then looked at all their knockouts and said, all right, let's throw out all the knockouts that happened after the second minute. Their knockout rate, Foreman's knockout rate, was exactly the same as Amanda Serrano's. That's why they want the 3-minute rounds, for 2 reasons. A lot of fans that, criticize women's boxing say, well, they only fight 2-minute rounds. It's boring. I don't want to see it. And there's never any knockouts. That shuts that argument up. The other very important argument to me is if women want parity in what they get paid, they need to fight the same length as the men do. Now, the WBC has always thrown a wrench in this. They are the only sanctioning body that 100% will not sanction a WBC title fight at 3-minute rounds for any reason. Any reason. So, in my opinion, there are 3 other sanctioning bodies that are fine with it. I do think the pressure and the willingness of the fighters themselves will eventually force the issue. But I say, good for Serrano. This puts a little pressure on Katie Taylor. I like it. I like her attitude. And let's see what happens. I'm very interested to see what kind of fight it turns out to be.
Joe Habib, is this a publicity stunt, or is she making some? Is there anything we can give her credit for here, in your opinion?
I'm not going to take anything away from the fact that she wants to do it, but I think the way she's marketing it, it's kind of a publicity stunt because it's been done before. And the last time it was done, as Gail said, it was 16 years ago. And she's saying, like, because I'm going to do it, I'm going to be the trendsetter. I'm going to make all the other women want to do it. And the problem with that is when it was done before, 3 12-minute rounds, 12 3-minute rounds, when it was done back in 2007, it didn't happen again until now, right? So 16 years later, it's going to happen again. So I think it would mean more to me if it was against someone like a Katie Taylor. I think it would have meant more to me if she asked Katie Taylor right when the negotiations started. I think this is kind of like a Jake Paul thing, right? And again, it's fine. It's fine. But I'm going to look at it for what it is. I don't think it's her trying to, put women's boxing on her back and, be the trendsetter and everyone come follow me if I do it. We can be just as good as the men do what the men do. All right, it's fine. You want to do what the men do to try, like Gail said, to get closer to the money that the men get. That's a step in the right direction. But it just seems a little bit all too convenient right now. I mean, you have over 40-something fights, and you only started talking about doing this when you hooked up with Jake Paul. So did you really want to do this, or was this Jake Paul's idea? And are you doing this because you know you're probably going to knock this young lady out early? I mean, you think this is really going to go the full 12? So I don't know. I just think I think it is a publicity stunt, if I'm being honest, and I think it's kind of orchestrated by Jake Paul. But that doesn't mean it's a bad. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or it's a good thing. I'm just calling it for what I think it is.
Okay. 408. How much of this is her genuinely trying to make history and help the sport of boxing, help women's boxing specifically, and how much of this is publicity?
I think Beef just hit the nail on the head, personally. I think it's a bit disingenuous. She's working with a marketing guru and Jake Paul, but it's admirable in the sense that it's long overdue. And when I said it was disingenuous, you guys pointed out it's been done before, right? But as women's boxing becomes more popular, the hardcore fans that are watching either them on the undercard or as a main event, they want to see those knockouts. Just, equal pay, equal standards. They want to see the girls get knocked out too, unfortunately. I wish you guys could help me out on this, but I think I saw a fantastic fight this year on DAZN where a Mexican-American girl went across the pond and took on one of their amateur standouts, now professional, and stopped her in a big upset, just dropped her repeatedly. And that to me was exactly what I've been wanting to see in women's boxing. And she managed to do that in 2-minute rounds. So when I start thinking about, Alicia Baumgartner or some of these bigger stars like Michaela Mayer, and if you guys pointed out, I think they could stop a lot of their opponents in 3-minute rounds. And that would be beneficial and even more exciting and grow the audience for women's boxing. So I think it is a step in the right direction and something I'm on board with.
All right. Crystal, how much of this is, her trying to make a change for the better, and how much of it is publicity, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think there's a lot of change here. Like everyone stated already, this happened before, right? They do it in the amateurs all the way through once they are open, right? So this is nothing new. One thing I will have to say, though, how many of the females do we have that have the stamina for 3-minute rounds, right? Once we start pushing to 3-minute rounds, I want to see the money for the ladies first prior to doing the 3-minute round, right? I want to see the money first and then the round change if we go that way. I have to agree a little bit with the WBC. We do the 2-minute rounds. Why? So it's more exciting and the female professional sport. So this was part of the reason, back in the day, they decided that they want 2-minute rounds. They say it was safety and they want to bring more eyeballs to the female sport. So the female aspect of boxing. So, I don't think at this point it's a safety issue because our amateurs are doing it, quite honestly. So I think it's publicity at this point with Amanda. I think I truly feel like she is a good boxer. I like what she's doing with Mr. Paul. She's making some money. She's bringing some more eyes to the sport that weren't there before, right? So, but I think still in the female portion of the sport, we leave it up to the fighters. If they agree they want to go to the 3-minute rounds, so be it. But some of these fights have to be fair. They start getting a little bit boring if we're going 3 minutes and these ladies don't have the punching power to complete the knockout, and then they don't have the stamina to get through. So yeah, whatever.
Christine, what is this in your opinion? What Amanda's doing?
So I told you earlier I'm a little emotional today, so I'm going to speak from an emotional standpoint. First of all, I want to say, though, she is the GOAT when it comes to combat sports. She is. I'm going to give her props. But I will also say this. If she's trying to help women's boxing and everybody involved in it, I'm sure that everybody saw all the tweets whenever Kiera was begging for fights, begging for someone to give her attention, and Amanda would respond, and she would respond, but nothing came about it. So she signed with Split T, and shout out to Brian Cohen and Split T because now they're giving Kiera a shot. And so I have to say, if you're really for women's boxing, why did you ignore Kiera when she was calling out to you? And you replied to her as if you were going to help her, and then we saw nothing. We saw her signing other people. We saw her doing other things, and then she kind of put Kiera to a side. So I'm emotional today, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. Publicity stunt, yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's been done before. It's being done in the amateurs. You know, let's go. Let the money match the rounds. Let's go. I'm with it.
Nika, in fairness, HLD pointed out this is the first 12-round, 3-minute unification title fight for women. Okay. So that's what makes it historic.
Okay. Well, I got to agree with a little bit of some people's, you know, take on it. But I got to disagree with a lot of y'all as well. I feel like women definitely can fight 3 minutes. They spar for 3 minutes, you know, preparing for these fights. I'm like, and I saw Gail in the comments, women give birth. I mean, we are built for tough. I'm sorry. 3 minutes. And I don't feel like women should wait like to get paid afterwards. No, if we're fighting 3 minutes, pay 3 minutes. No, that's crazy. And do I think it's a little bit of a publicity stunt? Absolutely. To anything to sell a fight. You know, I kind of thought maybe she was making history until I found out some little nuggets that, you know, it was done before. So no, it's not making history. It was done before. But now you're saying it's undisputed unification. So now that's another gem. But I feel like it's all good. And then I feel like, no, 2 minutes is not enough for women, because when I'm watching the fights, when 2 minutes is just about to end, that's right when it starts getting good and somebody's about to get knocked out. And I'd be like, damn, if they had 1 more minute, this bitch would have got knocked out. So no, I need 3 minutes. I need 3 minutes. Pay 3 minutes. I want 3 minutes. That's it. So.
Okay.
Can I add something about the stamina thing? And I kind of did like a little anecdotal experiment with MMA in comparison to the women fighters in MMA to the men. And I took Amanda Nunes as an example, and her fights, right? She's only went the distance like in 2 of her the 5-round fights. I think by extending the rounds and you know, not only the women get tired, but the men get tired because the rounds are 3 minutes, and the fatigue actually contributes to the knockouts. So if you add that extra minute, and maybe the women get tired, like the women will have to work harder, and you know because their stamina will wane a little bit, right? Just like the men's stamina wanes in the later rounds, their stamina will wane in the later rounds, and you will get more stoppages based off of stamina, right? Because the more tired you get, the less punch resistance you have. So if you're only having to fight 2 minutes, then you know you can recover. You're not sustaining the amount of damage. You can recover quicker. So by adding that other minute, I think by default, because of the stamina, you will get more knockouts.
I mean, but if we're being real, do men really have better stamina than women? In my experience, that's not the case.
Depends on what we're doing, Nika. Depends on what we're doing.
Sorry.
It depends on what you do. But among elite athletes, like, call me what you want, but yes, the men have better stamina amongst elite athletes.
Okay. All right.
I'm just putting that out there. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that doesn't mean, however, that I don't think women could box 12 rounds.
They can still do it. They should still do it, and they could do it. But I think a lot of men get knocked out. A lot of knockouts are from fatigue. That's what I'm trying to say. So because the men fight 3 minutes, that's why you see more knockouts, because in the later rounds, guys are getting worn down and they're more tired.
So we're basing off of men's stamina. That's pretty much.
No, but even then, look.
If you look at MMA though, right? There's a lot more knockouts in MMA because they do go, the 5-minute rounds. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that's the anecdotal experiment that I used, because if you look at women's MMA in comparison to women's boxing, there's a ton of stoppages over there because they're forced to go the full amount of rounds.
But they're getting kicked in the face, kneed in the face.
I understand that, but would you agree though, if they cut the rounds down to 2, they would probably last. They would have more decisions, right? as opposed to doing the full 5.
I mean, taking a punch in the face and taking a foot in the face.
Well, most of the knockouts are from punches too. So if you look at that, like there's very
taking my time to watch MMA, it's always been like
there's a few kick
elbow
knockouts.
in there. They get elbowed too. Like they get elbowed, they get kneed, they get kicked.
No, but like all that, it works both ways though, right? Because you could also use those weapons yourself, right? What makes boxing difficult is how limited it is. Like the fact that you could only use your punches, and to strike is what makes it difficult, right? There's plenty of MMA guys that cannot do a 12-round fight. Conor McGregor was out, like Mayweather knew he was going to get tired. Like he said it going in, that guy's going to get tired. I don't care in what shape he is. I don't care if he takes kicks in the octagon. I don't care if he wrestles. He ain't going to be able to do 12 rounds. And he was right.
Rest. You can rest when you're in the guard too. In boxing, when you're in a clinch, you get broken up and you got to continue to fight. So you can argue it's maybe harder to take kicks, maybe harder to take elbows, maybe harder to have to take kicks to your legs. But at least one thing they do have in MMA is they could, if they're in the guard, they could rest while they're in the guard. Whereas in boxing, you can't rest. So that's
like see,
different.
I just feel like we're comparing two different things. Because when I'm watching MMA and they have these people in these guard, like their clinches and stuff, they're like they have one person's legs bent damn near behind their back, and then you gotta wait for that person to tap out. In the meantime, you're like pushing them in the feet. Like, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Look, of course, there's two differences with it. There's no doubt about that. But I guess my argument is that there's a reason Conor couldn't do a 12-round fight. That's all I'm saying.
He'd be doing coke and all type of shit. Like, come on.
Not for that fight. He was ready for that fight. But here's the thing. I just like the way I feel. Like I think there's a lot of nuance to this. This is how I feel in general about women fighting some amount of rounds in time. And there's what Amanda Serrano's doing. What I remember the show we did. We did a roundtable. When Amanda, it was that day, like she challenged Katie to 12 rounds. And I remember saying to myself, you already agreed to the fight. Like you can't go back and change what you agreed to. And you can't, which is why you did it. And you did it to try to make Katie look like the bad guy for not wanting to do it. But you never proposed that. Not only that, you never fought. She's never fought in a 12-round fight, ever. She's been pro longer than Katie, and she never fought in a 12-round fight. But in the second press conference, you bring it up. I mean, I just felt like that was definitely a Jake Paul thing. And it reminds me of a lot of things, right? Like we see it at all levels. It's not just the women. Like I saw Nikita Zhu was scheduled to fight 6 rounds with some other guy in Australia. And the guy brought up Bomber, I think his name was. He said, if you're a real man, well, why don't we do 10 rounds? Well, why are we doing 6 rounds? And Nikita was like, bro, we already agreed to the fight. Why are you bringing this up like at the press conference, right? Like we're not going to change. And in the end, it didn't matter. He knocked him out of the first round. It didn't even matter, right? You know what I mean? Like, but I just, that's what gets, like, she's trying to make it out to be like Katie was a chicken and she didn't want to do 12 rounds with me. When you challenged her to that when you knew the fight was already agreed to.
Because I saw that tweet. Was it her that tweeted that, or was that
was her,
the brother-in-law? Because he was like, "Well, we offered it to Katie, but she."
Well, that's what we don't know, right? I don't know.
We don't know that. We don't know that. And here's the thing: she got very tired in that fight with the 2-minute rounds. Like after the 5th round, she lost because she gassed herself out in that 5th round. I'm going to tell you something right now, and this is just my opinion. This would have made a hell of a lot more and meant a hell of a lot more to me. And this is just me. If she did it against someone like a Katie Taylor, if you knew, or someone like an Alicia Baumgardner or something like this, you're doing this against a woman that you're probably going to knock out in about 3 or 4 rounds, anyways. So it's I don't know, man. I'm just being honest with you. Like, do it when it means something. Like in a fight when you're not a 10-1 favorite. And you're not fighting a girl with 12 fights, do it then. That's just me.
You know what? It's like that term I told you. It's like lipstick on a pig at this point. You know what I mean? You're trying to sell this fight that nobody really cares about, and you want to add this like extra, like, oh, it's a first 12 round unification. I guess, look, good. Like, I'm glad she's going to do a 12-round fight, and I'll end my point with this. If what she does after this is going to be very important. If she moves on, like she fights Bumgarner or Katie, and none of this 12-round, 3-minute thing comes up. If you bring it up again when the fight's already agreed to, and like, then it's all going to be for nothing. What she does moving forward is going to be very important. If she says moving on from now on, anyone who fights me, it has to be 3 minutes, 12 rounds, then we're talking. Like, it depends. It just depends on what she does moving forward. That I will say. Okay. Anybody have? Go ahead.
I got one. I just got one. Oh, I'm sorry.
If this is what you are believing in, then this is what you should demand moving forward. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And one last thing that kind of bothers me too. She lost the Katie Taylor fight, and probably one of the best women's fight I've ever seen. That was an outstanding fight. It was close. I thought Katie edged her. If you thought Amanda won, I have no problem with that. Could have gone either way. I'm fine with that. They offered her the rematch twice, and she turned it down twice. Katie Taylor loses to Chantel Cameron, right? And she doesn't go back. She could go back down to 134 and make really good paydays defending her undisputed, right? But what does Katie Taylor do? I want the get back. I'm not going to say I'm not a real 140-pounder. I'm staying at 140. I'm rematching Chantel at her weight. And this is what you do. She had a tough fight with Pursoon. A lot of people thought she lost that fight. What did she do? She ran it back, right? So, and then look at, I'm not a pound for pound person, but look at the pound for pound. Katie Taylor has fought four women in that pound for pound top 10 list. Amanda Serrano's only fought one, and that's Katie Taylor. So, I mean, you want to take shots at Katie Taylor. In my opinion, she's the true person who's carrying this sport right now in women's boxing. That's just my opinion. You can say what you will.
Gail, anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
It's kind of a stretch, but
I agree.
Who's making the most money? She's making the most money.
And she'll fight anybody again.
She'll fight anybody.
I agree.
I like Clarissa Shields, but Katie, unfortunately, Katie's in those divisions where there's better comp for her.
I want to say this, and I believe Gail touched at this point, and I've never like looked into the numbers, but I've always known this. Most of women's boxers are somewhere around like 112 to 126. They're all kind of there. Up in like Clarissa Shields divisions, there's very few women, and the lower you go, there's just more women. Why? Because women are just smaller than men. But when you look at the men that are from 126 down who were to do that, they don't get knocked. Like Inoue is an anomaly. What Inoue does, like what makes him amazing, is that like that's just not what they do down there. They don't just knock dudes out like that. You know what I mean? Those fights are always going to distance, always, like every single time. In fact, that's always been one of the criticisms of dudes that don't want to watch the lower weight classes. Oh, there's no knockouts. So they're just throwing punches. Nobody knocks anybody out. They say the same thing about those divisions that they say about women. But it's because the women fights you're watching, most of them are in those divisions. I'm just putting that out there. But Gail, I want to kind of give you the last word here. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
The fact that we're all arguing this with so much energy is a positive. It says everything about how women's boxing has come up. And look at this panel. Look at this panel. You know, right now, women are outnumbering the guys on the panel. Thank you very much for inviting us all on our behalf. You know, the fact that we are arguing about this, there is nothing bad about this at all. We are discussing women's boxing in a passionate way. We all know our stuff. We've all got our opinions. Just like in men's boxing, we all agree to disagree, and it's nothing but good.
Look, check out nyfights.com. Check out Gil's work on there. Check out Women Crushing It Wednesday on In the Ring with Christine every Wednesday. Check out the Shoe Shine every Monday with his co-host Drew Evo. And, of course, Ringside Reporter every Sunday. Next week, the Roundtable will be on Ringside Reporter. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. We're out here, guys. Peace.